Let's talk about how today's environment is for women. In some ways, you could say it's actually better to be a woman today, and I mean like today and maybe in the past 12 months, but not more than that, because everybody wants women now to be running stuff.
When we were out looking to raise money for SoulPancake about 3 years ago, was out pitching to a bunch of different companies and ended up switching to kind of an acquisition scenario and had a couple offers for acquisition. Well, one of the companies that was really interested in acquiring us, I'm not going to say their name, but they're a very, very large media company that was looking to invest more in media. And we went in, Rainn and I went in to pitch to their board. Their board was all white men over the age of 65, whose names were Jim and Bob and Dave, and Rainn with 2 N's, and the one that nobody could pronounce, walk in, and we pitched them. We pitched them on SoulPancake, and they're actually really excited, and they say, great, this is awesome, we want this kind of information, can we have another call next week to talk this through? So the following week, we all get on a conference call. So everyone's dialing in one by one, Rainn dials in, I dial in, and there's this weird noise going on in the background. There's it's like happening. So one of the men from the board goes, hey, Sha Shabnam, and I'm like, yes, and he's like, is that you with the vacuum in the background? No. Would you mind? I'm not kidding you. Would you mind going on mute? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm in my office. It's very quiet here. That's not me. And then one of the other guys jumps in and goes, oh, sorry, Tom, that's me. I'm going to go on mute. I'm working from home today. That's the housekeeper in the background. Sorry about that. And I'm just like, holy cow. Now, Rainn is on the call, mind you, with me. So we finish this call, we hang up, and Rainn calls me immediately, and he's like, oh my God, I think that went so well. Did you see? They loved us. I think they're going to make an offer. And I'm like, Rainn. Did you hear what he said at the beginning? And he's like, yeah, he just, he didn't know anything. I'm like, no, he called out the only woman on the call and assumed it was a vacuum. All my leadership team is women. I can't do a deal with this company. And now they did make an offer. It was a terrible offer and we wouldn't have taken it anyways. But like, those are the kinds of things that happen. Now, I didn't sit there and be like, hey, Bob, like that's an inappropriate thing to me to say on the call. Like, no, that's not the appropriate place for it. But those are the kinds of things that like, sometimes happen, and it is a different generation, right? Now I'll give one last example. Sorry, I'm just going to give one last example.
I'm just like really, can we just like pause? Because that was like, that was intense.
Yeah.
Oh
right?
my God.
Right? I know.
Oh my God.
And I literally was like, and Rainn's like, that was great. I'm like, So the third example was doing a board presentation and was afterwards, I had made a joke inside of this board meeting. Now our board is primarily all men. And I came out of that board meeting and I had made a joke in the board meeting that half the folks landed with and half the room it did not land with. And coming out of it, my boss gave me some feedback and basically was like, hey, just in the future, it would be, maybe fewer jokes, be a little bit more polite and a little less direct in those board meetings. And like, I don't think he realized that he told a woman to be more polite, and that's not really language you should use. Now, did I sit there and be like, hey, that's not language you should use? What I actually did was I said, okay, this is someone who I actually believe wants me to succeed, and he's giving me feedback, right? He may not have used the right words, but he's trying to give me feedback here. And I genuinely believe people only give you feedback if they are invested in you growing. If no one's giving you feedback, it's because they don't think that it's gonna work, and you're probably not gonna improve. But if people are giving you feedback, then look past the words and be like, okay, let me think about the feedback and what are they actually trying to say to me, and not, to Amy's point, don't get offended. Like, don't get offended. Like, feedback is valuable, and if people are giving you feedback, it is because they genuinely see potential in you to grow. So I was like, okay, let me sit with that for a minute. Like, was I maybe too direct? Did I kind of step out of bounds? And I was like, all right, let me like adjust. If that's not the room for a joke, right? Like, then let me adjust and make sure that I am actually playing to the room of people that I'm speaking to. So I think it's really nuanced. It's really nuanced. You're going to have people of a different generation who are going to say things that are going to like rub you the wrong way. And you kind of just have to know that that's the generation that's moving out. And then you're going to have people who are giving you feedback and maybe not using the right words or not positioning it the right way. But you got to kind of see past that to see if that person does have your best interest in heart and is advocating for you. And then if you're in a position where you can actually make those decisions, to be very intentional about it and to not just do it as lip service and to say, okay, even if I'm going the other way and I've got all women, do I need to actually balance that out to make sure that I have the diversity of perspective that I'm trying to get?